ICP continues to counter trade the market. We are seeing crypto up and most altcoins up a decent bit today off the back of some good government shutdown news here in the US. But we are seeing ICP down just a little bit, actually a decent bit on the day. But is this something to be concerned about? Should we be slightly worried, or is this just kind of a little bit of a retrace after an absolutely insane move up over the past couple of weeks? Because we are still seeing some pretty major moves from ICP in the recent past. So we're going to be talking about all of that, some ICP specific news, and then some other news that we're actually could be seeing that could massively impact the entire crypto market as a whole, ICP included. Now, this is kind of the thing that I was talking about a couple videos back, where we were saying that, if ICP enters into more of an alt like type rotation, or maybe even a full-on alt season from a position of strength like it has been, this could be absolutely insane for ICP. So let's go ahead, we'll check it out. First off, we will see the crypto bubbles today. Like I was saying, most things here looking pretty green. We do have some up actually like quite heavily. We've got the privacy tokens actually seem to be doing a pretty decent run of their own, with like Monero and Zcash rolling along. And then we also have Decred going on a decent run as well. Again, a lot of these smaller coins that kind of just peak right into the top 100, generally are due to some fairly strange and aggressive moves. Now, we can also see here on ICP down 16% on the day, still up 88% on the week though. So a really, really strong move. If we look at the weekly moves, ICP actually leading the entire market here still. So pretty good move here from ICP, even though, a little bit of a red day going on. I do think that this is totally okay. This is just normal profit taking. Obviously, we had seen some really, really aggressive price movement as well to the upside. And so with something like this is going to be clearing out so many longs, people that are getting over leveraged and things like that. Now, we also have some interesting information coming from Fabio as well in terms of who is buying and who is selling ICP. We can see that sharks continue to accumulate ICP while dolphins are selling into strength. Now, personally, you can see he's sitting on the sidelines and waiting. ICP at $7.50 is still heavily undervalued compared to Solana and ETH, which I think is fair. Now, of course, definitions, sharks are people who hold 5 to 10,000 ICP, and dolphins are between 1 to 5,000. So we can see that people who hold a lot of ICP are continuing to buy more, even though price continues to go up. And the people who hold maybe particularly smaller amounts of ICP are definitely selling, and they're selling off relatively hard into this pump that we have seen recently from ICP. So a pretty interesting kind of stat going on there. I do think this does kind of continue to stick with the claim that the people who have the most conviction in ICP know its true value and will continue to accumulate. Those who don't might be looking to take profits because they just maybe don't understand it as much or as well. Now, moving along, if we go ahead and look at the ICP chart, you can see on the hourly, we did have this really, really strong move to the upside. We were actually holding like a trend line. I won't drop it. You could probably see it pretty clearly. What we were holding, we did break through that with a decent bit of selling going on here. Again, I do think a lot of this is just clearing out leverage, getting rid of a lot of that kind of activity in the market, just because with this type of move, you are going to see a lot of people jumping into the leverage and potentially this is a good way to clear a lot of that out. So we will see, hopefully this continue to kind of reverse and turn around. We did see it drop below this kind of $8.50 range, this key level. So we will have to retake that level of resistance after it did look like we turned it into a support, which is a really, really good sign. Not really anything too concerning. You can see we did hold up at that $6.80 range, which is really, really good. We actually have held well above this kind of key level, like range trading zone that we were in for a very, very long period of time. So it's really great to see that we are holding above there. Again, higher highs, higher lows, all of this still kind of intact here. If we go ahead and look at a longer time frame, you will see RSI is starting to recover a little bit on the 4-hour, which is good. You'll also see in the Bollinger Bands, we were pushing the tops for a very long time. We have started to come back inside it a little bit, which is good. And then, of course, ideally we'd be looking to see a further move back to the upside. But as I did mention in several of my past, recent videos, something like this, in my opinion, was always on the cards. where it decided to kind of accumulate, where it decided to retrace to was really kind of the important piece. Now, I think if we're retracing, and even if we just range trade in between like, 680 and 850, that is a very, very like massive improvement from what we've seen over the past several months. Now, ideally, we continue to keep the upward momentum and ideally even break and hold above the $10 range. But even if we have to wait for some, a little bit more consolidation and whatnot going on, I think that's totally fine. I'm not really too concerned about that individually, but of course you need to be making your own decisions and make sure that you're doing what is best for you. Now, if you are interested, of course, I do have all of those links in the description below that are affiliate links. I have them for BTCC and then BloFin. BTCC does have the best deposit bonus. In my opinion, it is giving you a 10% bonus on first time deposits. Guaranteed free money. If you're looking to trade ICP, that is a great way to essentially just increase your exposure by 10% if you are really bullish on ICP. And then I do also have on BloFin that special ICP spinner game. So if you get signed up and you do a deposit, you can win up to 25 ICP as well. So some really, really good bonuses there. If you are interested, I do have those affiliate links in the description below. You can go ahead and check those out. Now, moving along, we'll take a look at the daily chart as well. You can see here, again, nothing really looking too concerning. We can see actually this actually is looking kind of nice in my opinion. We can see a little bit of a pullback, a nice wick up already, really touching that clean support and then bouncing. We can see still actually not quite. We're at 69.89 and overbought is 70. So we're just barely outside of overbought, and you can see we are falling back inside the Bollinger Bands after being outside of them for several days now. So this is good. It is nice to see some of these technicals start to recover. Again, the biggest thing that we need to see here is a little bit of consolidation or even just this bounce and then a continuation back to the upside, similar to kind of like what we saw here, would be totally fine. But having and seeing some of this consolidation and some of this retracing, I do think is actually healthy for the ICP chart. Even though I would love to see just like up only, I do think that this is a good thing to see. Now, moving along, I want to talk about some of the bigger picture things that are happening in the macro market that could impact crypto, altcoins, and even ICP specifically. I think all of this is very, very important. So first off, let's go ahead. We take a look. We could see that the last time the government reopened after a shutdown, Bitcoin rallied over 300% in 5 months. Now you'll see here, this is back in 2019. Bitcoin rallied from about $3,000 all the way up to about 13,000, almost 14,000 at its high. So a really, really insane move here, from what we could see after the government reopened. Again, a lot of this comes down to liquidity. A lot of this comes down to just the market starting to kind of flow back again. There's so much going on here that I think is like very important to understand. So I do think it is possible for us to see something like this. Again, a 300% move, probably not as likely, just because at this point the market cap of Bitcoin was so much smaller. But I do think that we could see this type of rally going out, or coming out of a government shutdown and having the government reopen, just because the government at this point in time is such a massive part of the total spending in the economy. Having it back open and essentially turning the money tap back on is going to be a good thing for a lot of different assets in this space. And so I do think that this is something that people are trying to front run. You can see obviously back on the crypto bubbles a little bit green today. That is because people are hearing some rumors of some potentially like some progress being made on getting the government reopened again. And so potentially that is why we are seeing a green days, because people are looking to kind of front run this type of thing. But again, always remember, if people are expecting it, it's not going to happen basically ever. So just make sure that you're viewing this type of stuff with the adequate amount of skepticism. I did just find that this was quite interesting and figured it was worth covering, because I do think to some degree we will probably see a rally upon the US government reopening. It just may not be this level of magnitude. It is kind of mainly what I'm getting at. Now, the other thing here that is also, I think, causing some optimism in the crypto market is Trump, who is the US president, of course. He is basically wanting a tariff check essentially being sent out, basically saying this is a reimbursement to taxpayers for the money that the US is bringing in from tariffs. This is essentially a stimulus check. This is very, very similar to what we saw back in 2021. during COVID 2020 as well, when we started to see some really insane moves coming out of the crypto space. So again, I also think speculation abounds that we could start to draw some comparisons to 2020, 2021, and some of the ridiculous moves that we saw back in crypto at that point in time. So again, really, really interesting and crazy things happening. All of this stuff could, of course, massively impact ICP. And if ICP continues to show the strength that it has been having, these types of things and these types of moves happening within the crypto market should be very, very, very good for ICP. So I want to just cover all of that with you today to make sure that you're staying up to date with all the big picture stuff as it relates to the macro market, and then of course all of the stuff that relates to ICP specifically. So again, if you found the information in the video useful, of course you know what to do. I appreciate all of the support. It does really, really make a huge difference, and of course, like I said, I massively appreciate it. Also, if you have any comments, questions, anything like that, just drop those in the comment section below. I try to read and respond to all of those. So if you have anything that you want me to see or have anything that you want me to kind of maybe respond to, anything like that, just drop those in the comment section below. So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.